Caseus. Clone Wars Chronicles. Part 7. Pushing Through. Corbyn awoke from a few hours of rest and walked over to the mirror and table set up in the corner. Grabbing a razor, he very carefully started to shave off the thick layer of stubble growing on his cheeks and chin. All the while, he looked at his cybernetic arm, watching the little bits and pieces moving throughout the prosthetic to simulate what he was once able to do without even thinking. Every time he looked at it, he thought of Dravok. He vividly remembered the shock and pain he felt upon losing his arm to that man. The rest of that day seemed more or less a blur. 1313, the Trandoshans, the Nexu. That whole mission took a toll on them all. Corbyn, however, knew he came out of it worse than Caseus or Sarah. After all, they were patched up after a dip in the Bacta tanks. He wasn't so lucky. Still, he didn't hold it against them. They were teenagers after all. In that situation, it could have happened to any one of them. A crisp morning breeze entered the tent as Master Terran walked inside.
"Did you sleep well?"
Corbyn kept his eyes on the mirror.
For the most part. There's something you need?
Master Terran sat on a supply crate.
"Sit."
Corbyn quickly threw water onto his face and dried it with a towel before sitting down next to his master.
"You're frustrated. I can tell."
Corbyn remained silent, brushing off a few bristles of hair from his clean-shaven face.
"I need you to trust me. I need you to understand why we're here. Governor Ludovic is already on edge and is considering withdrawing any and all support to either side of the war. If he does, we will have no jurisdiction here, none of Terrasia's valuable resources, and we won't be able to defend them against the Separatists should they retaliate."
Corbyn looked at his master.
So he's ready to give up. We lost a lot of men these past few weeks keeping his city safe.
I know that, and you know that. Governor Ludovic, however, believes that withdrawing Terrasia will put a stop to the conflict and allow their trade routes to reopen.
Withdrawing from the fight will only doom them.
Which is why we need to stay. We have to show him that the Republic is the only line of defense Terrasia has against the Confederacy.
Corbyn looked down and sighed. He was sick of this place. Sick of fighting. His master seemed resolved, however, to finish the job.
"Corbyn, do you trust me?"
Corbyn looked up into the eyes of his master and slowly nodded his head.
I trust you, Master. We'll see it done.
"Good. I have to report to the capital and oversee security measures. You're free to come along if you wish. Otherwise, remain here and await further orders."
I'll stay here. I'll be ready when you need me, Master.
Master Terran departed from the tent as Corbyn finished his morning routine. Eat something, exercise, the usual. Fastening his armor, he made his way over to his men who gave their morning briefing.
"Commander, sleep well?"
Corbyn sighed.
About as well as usual.
That bad, huh?
Corbyn looked at the holomap of Cartea.
Any separatist activity in the area?
All quiet so far. We have a few patrols scouting out the capital, but as of now, we have no reason to believe they've infiltrated the city.
How about Boulder and Dust?
They're heading on a patrol of the wastes in a few minutes.
Corbyn stretched his shoulders.
I'll go with them. Someone needs to keep an eye on them.
Very good, sir. Meet them by the speeders when you're ready.
Corbyn stepped outside and made his way to the speeders, where Boulder and Dust were checking their gear.
Boulder, ready for a little recon?
Yes, sir. Good to have you along for the ride.
Dust scraped some dirt from his visor and nodded as he mounted his speeder. Corbyn stroked the handlebars of the slick black swoop speeder he was assigned and boarded.
Okay, Dust. Lead the way.
Dust nodded and signaled forward with 2 fingers as they sped from the camp into the wastes. All the while, in a separatist command ship several parsecs away, Captain Miagwe stood and awaited his transmission. A tall alien of the Mun species, he stood proud but fearfully before the holoprojector. After failing to stop the Republic from overwhelming his forces in a battle over Kalarba, he knew that any further mistake he made would be his last. The holoprojector beeped as an image of Count Dooku appeared.
Captain Miyagwe.
Count Dooku, my forces are at your disposal.
Indeed. I do not think I need to remind you that your forces have proven less than efficient as of late.
Please, sire. I have just learned that the planet Terracia has been occupied by Republic forces. I'm confident that we can drive them back.
Your failure over Kalarba would suggest otherwise, Captain. You expect me to send you on this assignment?
It is but a single battalion, my lord. I shall prove myself should you give me the opportunity. Terracia has no structured military force. With a single legion of battle droids, I am confident that Terracia will fall, and their surrender to our cause will follow in turn.
2 battalions. I shall not waste a legion on someone of your ill repute. Gather your resources and head to Terracia at once.
Thank you, sire.
Keep in mind, Captain, should you fail, you will be speaking to me in person. I assure you that it will be most unpleasant for you.
Captain Miyagwe stood as a chill ran down his spine, and he left to begin preparations. In the wastes, Corbyn, Boulder, and Dust came to a stop at the crest of a rocky hill. Using his macro binoculars, Corbyn looked out into the distance, seeing nothing of note.
Anything, sir?
Nothing.
Dust signaled to Boulder.
Maybe. Commander, Dust thinks there could be something out to the east.
Corbyn looked through his binoculars and zoomed into the east, and saw what looked like smoke.
Yeah, I see something. Could just be a campfire, but we shouldn't take any chances. I'll go ahead and scout it out. Wait for my signal. If you don't hear back from me in 15 minutes, notify camp and let them know before you try anything reckless.
From what your master told us, recklessness is your expertise.
Corbyn hopped on the speeder bike and looked back with a smug grin. Thrusting forward on the throttle, Corbyn sped down the hill towards the distant smoke. Stopping far enough away to not spook anyone, Corbyn hopped off the bike and quietly crept over to the rocks between himself and this mysterious source of fire. As he listened, he could make out voices. They didn't sound like battle droids. Keeping his hand on his lightsaber, Corbyn crept closer and peeked his head around the corner. Sitting by a dying fire were 2 people, a man and a woman, dressed in ragged clothing, cooking something in a pot.
Is it ready yet?
Be patient. We don't want to overcook it. This is all we have for today.
Corbyn's guard dropped as he looked upon the 2 helpless denizens. It wasn't long before they caught sight of the young Jedi and immediately stood, one of them holding a blaster. Corbyn stepped forward, one hand raised, the other on his lightsaber.
Whoa, easy, easy. I'm not here to cause any trouble. I'm Commander Roth of the Republic. Are you 2 okay?
That's not your business, Jedi.
Actually, it is my business. I'm here as a representative of the Jedi and the Republic.
Cartea is not under the jurisdiction of the Republic.
Corbyn slowly walked closer and kept a calm head.
Then let me speak to you as a Jedi. Are you 2 okay?
The man looked to the woman and holstered his weapon.
We're fine.
Corbyn looked at their food cooking over a fire.
I thought temple food looked bad. You guys hungry?
The woman stepped in front of the man.
We're just fine. Please leave us alone.
Corbyn raised an eyebrow.
Like I said, I'm not here to hurt you, but this area isn't safe. There's been a lot of fighting out here in the past few weeks.
We noticed. Your Republic troopers have been causing quite the commotion.
Corbyn narrowed his eyes.
I'm surprised you managed to hear it over the marching of the battle droids. Look, you don't trust me. I get it. But I'm not here looking for travelers, so you're free to go. Please take this.
Corbyn reached into the bag of supplies he was carrying and handed them a box of rations.
It's not much, but this should help you get by for a while if you portion it right.
The woman kept her distance from the Padawan as the man very slowly took the box.
Thank you, Jedi.
You're welcome. Try to find shelter soon.
Corbyn bowed to the 2 travelers and hopped back on his speeder bike and rode back up to where Boulder and Dust were waiting.
Anything?
Just 2 travelers. Nothing to worry about.
Dust signaled to Boulder, who looked back to Corbyn.
What would travelers be doing out in the wastes?
That's not our business, soldier. I've talked to them, and I've deemed that they aren't a threat.
Did you search their belongings?
Why does that matter, Boulder? I told you they aren't a threat. Now let's head back to camp.
Dust signaled as he and Boulder mounted their bikes and made their way to camp. As they made their approach, Corbyn spotted someone up ahead walking through a field. It was the girl from the night prior, carrying 2 heavy jugs of water over her shoulders. Corbyn looked to Boulder and Dust as they stopped their bikes.
Head back to camp. I'll be there in a bit.
Boulder and Dust nodded and kept going ahead as Corbyn flew up ahead and pulled over alongside the young woman.
Hey, you're Kiana, right?
Kiana turned in surprise, nearly dropping the water.
Oh, hi. Yeah, you're Corbyn?
Corbyn smiled.
That's right. What are you doing all the way out here?
Kiana set the jugs down and stretched her arms.
Oh, our water supplied by our town was contaminated by the droids that came by the other day. I had to go upriver to get clean water, and my dad took the speeder to work.
Corbyn made room on the bike.
Here, hop on. I'll take you home.
Are you sure? I don't want to interfere in any Republic protocol or anything.
Corbyn smirked and fastened the water jugs to the back of the bike.
I'm a commander, sure. But I think this falls under Jedi jurisdiction, and Jedi don't turn their backs on people in need.
Kiana smiled and sat on the bike as Corbyn sped her towards the town. It wasn't long before they arrived at her town. It wasn't as poor as some of the other places he'd been to, but it certainly wasn't very advanced, at least compared to Cartea. Stopping in front of a gray house, Kiana stepped off and retrieved the jugs.
Thanks, Corbyn. You've been a big help.
Don't worry about it. Happy to help out.
Kiana picked up the jugs and turned back to him.
This might sound crazy, but would you care to join us for dinner later?
Corbyn scratched his neck.
Oh, well, I'd have to check with my master, but what time?
Just stop by after sunset. We'll keep it warm for you.
Corbyn nodded.
Okay. I'll try to swing by for a bite. Thanks, Kiana.
Corbyn sped off back towards the camp and arrived shortly after to see a few members of the 111th hauling 2 people into custody, the same travelers Corbyn had met earlier. Hopping off his bike, Corbyn ran over.
Hey, what's going on here?
One of the clones looked to Corbyn.
We're bringing these Seppi sympathizers in for questioning.
Corbyn glared.
I already spoke to those 2. They're harmless. Now let them go.
The clone pulled out the backpack being carried by the woman and retrieved a small metal case full of little red pills.
Poison. Why would harmless travelers be carrying Manax capsules?
Corbyn took the capsules and looked at them in shock.
These capsules could take out some very prominent people. As luck would have it, they were on their way to Cartea.
The man and woman struggled against the restraints as they were led away.
Trooper, there has to be an explanation.
Next time you come across travelers, sir, it's best not to take any chances. Especially not in a place like this.
The trooper took back the capsules and left Corbyn, who sighed in frustration, and returned to his quarters. Upon arriving, he saw his holoprojector had a message left for him. Walking over, he activated the projector as his master appeared via hologram.
Corbyn, I'm afraid negotiations are taking longer than usual. I won't be back until the morning. I trust you and our clones can take care of things for the evening. I'll see you in the morning.
The message shut off as Corbyn shrugged. It looked like his evening would be free after all.